so many people just rush into relationships these days. Mind you, I wrote this song when I was driving back from a waterfall. Hey lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Amity Gilmour and this is my musical life, and welcome to Jammy Chats. Today we're talking all about the second part of the story behind my song that came out a month, or maybe I think 2 months ago now, Light Up My Heart, and basically talking about my relationship life, which we're not delving straight into like all the nitty gritty stuff about all my relationships. Not that I have any, to be honest. We'll get to there, but more talking about the heart behind the song. But first, it's time to get our Jammy Chats drink. So let's go. And I also need to go to the post office to pick up some stamps for my small business. So let's go. It looks like the post office is closed, so that's for another day. I'm back home, and the drink for this Jammy Chats is a choc cookie gung cha with strawberry popping pearls. But first, we have to get in our PJs because otherwise it's not Jammy Chats. Hello, and these are the jammies for today's episode of Jammy Chats. If you saw, I got them from Kmart. Did I film myself in Kmart? Yes. Do I feel uncomfortable filming in Kmart or any public area for that matter? Yes. But do I still do it? Yes, I still do. Because I have a YouTube channel and I love making videos, but definitely making videos at home feels like 10 million times more comfortable. But anyway, let's start getting on to the topic of everything. Well, is my drink no longer cold anymore? Maybe. Are we gonna still drink it? Yes. Okay, I have way too much trust in myself right now. Oh, it didn't get anywhere. Okay, cool. That had the potential to go so wrong. Gong cha, bubble tea. Funny story, growing up in the country, bubble tea used to be such a massive novelty for me because you come to Sydney and it's everywhere. But we had like no bubble tea where I was growing up. I think we only just got like a bubble tea shop probably the last 2 years that I was living there. And it wasn't even in the town that I lived in, it was in the city over. All right. Without further ado, let's get into the video. These jammies are actually so comfy. I released a song 2 months ago called Light Up My Heart. It has come to my attention that I have not yet shared the story behind the song. And the story is the fact that I don't have a boyfriend and have never had a boyfriend ever. And I'm 26. What a crazy thing. I mean, I for one don't think it should be crazy. I think that so many people just rush into relationships these days, and I guess that's what I'll talk a little bit about, like where I'm at right now, why I haven't dated, and the meaning behind the song, I guess. Funny enough, every single time I post a photo with me and a guy on Instagram, you guys are just always onto me like, oh my goodness, is that your boyfriend? Is that your boyfriend? No, like there's been times where it has been my cousin or my brother. Guys, chill. Chill. Have I ever dated anyone before? I've been on dates, let's just say that, but I've not actually dated someone seriously. When I say I've been on dates, it was more to get to know the person. Also, there was one potential time where I naively didn't know it was a date and went along, and that ended up being a very, very difficult couple months after that. Ended up with a stalker. Not fun. But yes, I have been on dates. I have also been once in, I guess, a relationship-ish. It wasn't a relationship, but it was more just, we went on 4 dates in the span of 4 weeks, getting to know each other, and I think we just parted our own ways. No drama, just the fact that we had very different goals in life, and I wanted to take things slow, and he was not really wanting to take things slow. I think he was ready for marriage, and I wasn't. I have to like take things super slow, which I don't think is a bad thing. So yeah, and mind you, this was like 3 weeks of dating, and it was like, hurry up, make a decision. I'm like, yo, like it's 3 weeks. Like I say 4 weeks, but one of those weeks I was in the bush with no communication for a camp, and so I don't count that week at all. So no, I have not dated anyone. Have I been asked out before? Yes, I have been asked out a couple of times, and by a couple I mean probably upward of about 5 or 6 times maybe, and I just wasn't feeling it. It wasn't something that I felt in return, and so I kindly declined. And a lot of people are probably thinking like, why haven't you found a boyfriend? Like, guys, my life's goal is not to find a boyfriend. That is not my life's goal. For some people, they do want to settle down and get married and have kids, and that's such a beautiful thing, and I think that's such a great thing if that's what you want to do, but that's not really my life's goal. Like, that's not the thing I'm most excited about in life. I would definitely say I'm more excited about music and where I go with that. However, do I dream of my Prince Charming? Yeah, sure, I do. I totally do. However, I want to make sure it's the right person at the right time, and someone who's going to respect that I need to take it slow, and someone who's willing to take it slow in return. I feel like often we just are so quick to get into relationships just cause. And I say we, even though I haven't been in that situation, but a lot of people are just quick, especially I think in Christian circles. Like, I'm a Christian, and I see so many young Christians just rushing for marriage like really quickly. And sometimes that's a really beautiful thing, and the couple is a match made in heaven. Other times it's, you know, could have waited. I don't know if you're old enough to be making this decision, but that's just me. There have been many couples where I'm like, not sure about that one. Okay, but like, marriage is not the be end end all, whatever the saying is, be end and end all, because there is so many other things to be excited for in life. I think that our society definitely encourages women to just settle down really quickly and have kids like really young. I don't think that that is for everyone, and I think that it's okay if women want to focus on their careers first. There is nothing bad about that. I definitely felt guilty, I think, for the longest time, because for the longest time I could not see myself having kids. I mean, now I'm kind of neutral. I'm like, yeah, I can see myself having kids, or maybe I can't, but like, I'm chill either way. But like, for the longest time, I did not feel like I could have kids, and I felt so guilty about that, because I felt like, oh, I'm not a very good Christian girl, you know, like I'm supposed to want kids, which is totally incorrect. Let me just say that is biblically incorrect, because Paul actually speaks very highly of those who choose to remain single, and he's not talking about men or women in particular. He's talking about just in general, men and women. So singleness is a beautiful thing, and for some people, they choose to be single their entire lives, and you know what? There is nothing wrong with that. Nothing, absolutely nothing. And I think Paul really speaks to that situation in, I think it's Corinthians, where he says that if it were up to him, he would, you know, he would hope that no one would get married and everyone would be single, so that they could have their undivided attention and focus on Christ. And so that is, you know, that is something that Paul says. Also, that doesn't mean that no one should ever get married. Paul's not saying that. Paul's just saying, if it were up to me, this is how highly I regard singleness. But the reality is, he's not God. However, what it goes to show is that singleness, whether for a period or for life, is so beautiful and just as beautiful as marriage. Marriage is also beautiful. Both of it is beautiful. There are different paths, and I think as a society, especially one that I guess claims to be built on Christian values, again, I don't 100% think that it was. I think it was just based on traditions that people like weaved Christianity into and said, oh, this is the Christian traditional lifestyle. I don't agree. To be honest, I don't think the Christian tradition is for women to stay home and be homemakers, because the Proverbs 31 woman is actually a businesswoman. Just saying. Also, to go to mention Lydia in the church, the early church, who was a businesswoman. We're also not told she had kids or anything, but you know, I rest my case. So yes, I would really love to find the guy one day and get married, and whatever comes after that, whether we have kids or whether we just serve in the gospel together. But I think the main thing is I don't want a guy who is not going to listen to me, who's not going to let my needs be met or heard. And I want a guy who I can serve alongside with. I don't want a guy who is just like, okay, I'll do my important business stuff and you just stick at home and focus on that. Like, that's not what I want. And some people, that's their thing, and that's great. That's wonderful. That's not what I'd love. I'd love to work together alongside my husband and serve alongside my husband in all sorts of different things. But again, like, I'm saying this about a theoretical husband as well. So I obviously I don't, yep, things could change, but I think I don't want to lose that sense of adventure and that sense of going out there and doing things and traveling. Also, I want to mention that, like, for the longest time in all of my 20s, I was not comfortable enough to be in a relationship. I could not mentally handle a relationship. Again, I don't know where I'm at now. Like, I've never, I guess, been in a situation where I've been working towards a relationship with someone where I had been, like, in the past, and I knew 100% that I was not ready for that. And that's kind of why either we'd go on one date and it was like, that's it, or like I rejected, that sounds mean. I declined people's, I guess, invitations to date or whatever, because I was just not mentally ready. I have a lot of hurt that I went through in my early years of life that I still need to deal with. And I say that I have dealt with a lot of it, but there's still so much. And until I'm mentally ready to handle a relationship, I do not think it's good for me to just go out there and find whoever. And ladies, listen, my single ladies out there, please do not settle for second best. Do not settle. Do not think, okay, well, you know, he's got this thing going on that doesn't seem right. It's a bit of a red flag, but oh, okay, well, there's no one else on the radar, so I'll just, you know, I'll go with him. It doesn't matter. Ladies, don't do it if he has a red flag. And by the way, by red flag, I'm not talking about he's less than 6 foot or something like that. No, that is not a red flag. I'm talking about red flags that show that he may not be the nicest person and may not treat you the way that you deserve to be treated. Watch how he treats his family. Watch how he treats his sisters. He doesn't have a sister. Watch how he treats his mother. Watch all of that. Watch it all. Look, like, keep your eyes. Double check. Because you want to make sure that he is going to treat you right. And yeah, that being said, I'm not saying that like every single guy I've, you know, like ever been friends with has been like a terrible red flag. No, sometimes it was just things didn't work out, as in like our life goals didn't align, and that's nothing against any one of us. It just didn't work out. And then sometimes it's just like we're friends and that's it. And maybe we don't see anything past that. Like we just, it's like, yeah, cool. I have a lot of guy friends that are like my little brothers or my big brothers or my brothers something, you know, like brother my age. And that's cool, but I personally, I did like, you know, I think you get what I'm saying. Like some relationships are just friend relationships and some of them are like more than that, and some of them life goals don't align, and some people are red flags and it's like wanting, walk away, and that's okay. I will say I have probably only had 2 red flag situations in my life that I went on a date with maybe 2 of them. One of them kind of complicated. But anyway, majority of everyone else, it was just plans didn't align, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I wrote the song Light Up My Heart, talking about, I guess, the pain of the fact that I'm still waiting for the right one, but also it's just like, where is he? Where is he? I'm waiting for ya. I'm waiting, where are you? But also I am actually quite content where I am right now. I have been told like, oh, why don't you go on dating apps and stuff? And I'm like, not really, because I'm not in a situation where I feel like I need to go out of my way to find someone, because I am probably the most content I have been in a long time when it comes to like relationships and guys and all that kind of stuff. I'm very content just living my life, doing what I do, having my own little space, my own little house, my own bed, all that kind of stuff, my own everything. So I want to keep it like that for a while, unless there's someone that comes along that is worthwhile giving up my space for. If you're not worth it, I'm not giving up my space, okay? Okay. If you want me to do your washing, you gotta be worth that. If you want to wife me, you have to be worth it, okay? So with all this being said, yeah, I wrote this song because, yeah, I still dream of Prince Charming, but I am really content. Mind you, I wrote this song when I was driving back from a waterfall, as all things. Like I was driving back home. No, I think I was driving to a doctor's appointment. I've just been to a waterfall and I was driving from the waterfall to a doctor's appointment. And I was in the car and I was kind of like, let's like, and I wrote the chorus in my head. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I went home and wrote like the verses and, is there a bridge? Yeah, and the bridge and all of that. And it was kind of like a love song to my future someone, if there is a future someone. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you enjoyed my song. Thank you so much for everybody who has just been supportive of my song and everything, because it's been great. It's been wonderful. I've loved all your support. But question of the day, because I have not done this for a while. The question, I don't want to like delve personally, like too personally into things, so I gotta be like, so I gotta make sure the question's not gonna be, actually I got a question. If you were to get an engagement ring, since we're talking about, you know, waiting for the one, if you were to get an engagement ring, what would it look like? Like what rubies would it have? All that kind of stuff. That's the question of the day. All right, bye.